Hello again guys and welcome back to the Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind. We are back here in Vivek, the Palace of Vivek to be specific, and there's Lord Vivek just over there, levitating in a lotus position, just doing his yoga. Anyway, like I said, we're gonna read these three little, maths, four little pieces of paper, see what they'll say. So first, the plan to defeat Daggerthur. For the past 20 years, the Tribunal have tried unsuccessfully to execute this plan. However, we failed because we were required to stage an assault and simultaneously maintain the ghost fence to prevent the threatened large-scale breakout of Daggerthur's blighted hosts. With the Nerevarine leading the assault and the Tribunal free to devote their full energies to maintaining the ghost fence, this plan has a greater chance of success. Unfortunately, however, the loss of the artifacts Sunder and Keening and the recent increase in Daggerthur's strength poses new problems for the execution of our plan. Therefore, our proposed plan has the following 5 phases. 1. A series of aggressive raids to scout inside the ghost fence. 2. A series of aggressive raids to neutralise Daggerthur's ash vampire kin and recover artifacts from the bodies of his kin. 3. An assault of Gate Citadel Veminal to neutralise Daggervemin and recover the artifact Hammer Sunder. The artifact Hammer Sunder here. An assault of Gate Citadel Odrasel to neutralise Daggerth Odros and recover the artifact Blade Keening. 5. An assault of Citadel Dagoth with the artifacts Wraithguard, Sunder and Keening to sever Daggerthur's connection to the heart of Lorcan and thus destroy Daggerthur. Phase 1. Raids inside the ghost fence. The Tribunal Ordinators and Buoyant Armigers are familiar with the terrain and will provide maps and current intelligence reports. The region inside the ghost fence is dangerous and the Nerevarine will need to be familiar with its particular challenges. After measuring skills and resources against Daggerthur's defences, the Nerevarine will know better how to pace a campaign, alternating raids with improving skills, getting better equipment, stockpiling resources. Raids upon Ash Vampire Citadels. Daggerthur's kin have become markedly more powerful in recent decades after remaining stable for thousands of years. If they can be individually isolated and destroyed, they will not be able to support Daggerthur in later stages of the war. It may also be that the dramatic increase in their power comes from items enchanted by Daggerthur. Salvage of such items might contribute to our resources. Essential to recover the artifact Hammer Sunder for Phase 5. The Ash Vampire Daggervemin has possession of Sunder and probably seeks to discover the secrets of its enchantments. He may also have access to notebooks and journals of Kagranak that have survived in the Dream Workshops of Veminal. Essential to recover the artifact Blade Keening for Phase 5. The Ash Vampire Daggerth Odros has possession of Keening and probably seeks to discover the secrets of enchantments. All the previous stages are preparations for this stage. Recent expeditions show that Citadel Daggerth has undergone extensive expansion. The location will need to be explored carefully. The known route to the Heart Chamber will be well defended. Alternative routes may exist. Daggerth will have anticipated our plan to destroy him by attacking the Heart, and he will almost certainly personally approach the Heart Chamber. Together the Tribunal could not defeat him, and he has grown stronger since then. Admittedly, the Tribunal had the distraction of maintaining the ghost fence simultaneously with fighting Daggerthur, but even so the challenge seemed daunting. The adoption of this phase campaign seems to offer the best chances for success. In retrospect, the Tribunal's decision to directly assault Citadel Daggerth rather than proceed step by step to lesser objectives must be seen to have been a serious error. The Tribunal did not feel it had the option of a slow pace and deliberate campaign, given that they had many other competing priorities. Not the least of which was the maintenance of the ghost fence and the outer defences surrounding Red Mountain. The Nerevarine, on the other hand, should be best served by a careful step-by-step advance, with the additional advantage of building confidence along the way, while success would undermine Daggerthur's own assurance in his defences, implying Kagranak's skills against Daggerthur. The source of Daggerthur's supernatural power is the Heart of Lorcan. The Heart is also the source of the Tribunal's divine powers. During mythic times, the gods took and hid Lorcan's heart beneath Red Mountain as a punishment for creating the mortal plane. The Dreamer discovered the heart while building underground colonies. Highcraft Lord Kagranak created enchanted tools intended to tap the power of the heart. The war with the First Council was fought to prevent this sacrilege. Kagranak's use of these tools and the disappearance of the Dreamer race marked the end of the war. Kagranak's tools were recovered by Lord Nerevar and Daggerth. Daggerth was left to guard the tools, while Nerevar came to consult with us, his advisors. In Nerevar's absence, Daggerth experimented with the tools upon the heart and was corrupted. We returned to discover a deranged Daggerth who refused to turn over the tools. When he attacked us, we drove him away. We left Dread Mountain with the tools, and subsequently Softhill discovered their secrets. Collectively we used the tools to establish connection with the heart, enabling ourselves to transform our mortal natures. Thus we became the Tribunal. Daggerfur had survived their attacks, and without the tools, in a manner not well understood. Daggerfur also managed to establish a connection with the heart and transform himself into an immortal being. Our plan to destroy Daggerfur also runs the risk of destroying the Tribunal. The plan is to permanently disrupt Kagranak's enchantments upon the heart, severing connections with Daggerfur and ourselves and rendering us all once again mortal. A mortal Kagranak may then be destroyed by mundane means. The loss of godhood and the possible death of the Tribunal are judged a necessary risk and sacrifice. The normal procedure for establishing connection with the heart is a three-step process. The wearer of Wraithguard strikes the heart with the hammer sunder, causing the heart to produce a pure tone. Then the wearer of Wraithguard strikes the heart with the blade keening, shattering the pure tone into a prison of tone shades. These tone shades are then imprinted upon the substance of the wearer of Wraithguard, giving him an immortal and divine nature. The Nerve-Rain will not be taught the secret rituals required to perform the third step. Instead, the Nerve-Rain will strike the heart with keening for a second time, causing its tones to diverge into unstable patterns of interference. Further repeated strikes with keening will further disrupt the tones, with the ultimate result of shattering and dispelling Kagranak's original enchantments, binding with the heart, thereby severing the heart's links with Daggerfur, and with any surviving heart rights, and with the Tribunal. Destroying Kagranak's enchantments on the heart will also stop the corruption and fusion of the heart's divine power, and end the blight on Morrowind. The Nerve-Rain may be tempted to steal the power of the heart. Daggerfur and Softhill alone know the secret. Daggerfur may, in extremity, propose to teach the Nerve-Rain to use Kagranak's tools to become a god. We doubt the Nerve-Rain is a fool enough to trust Daggerfur and are content to take the risk. Be warned that the Nerve-Rain cannot safely equip either Keening or Safeguard Keening or Sunder unless wearing Wraithguard. The Nerve-Rain will be injured every moment while holding either of these artifacts unless protected by Wraithguard. Persistence will be rewarded with death. If Nerve-Rain can equip an item while not wearing Wraithguard and receive no injury, the item is counterfeit. One last note, Daggerfur must not get hold of Wraithguard. The Nerve-Rain must prepare and use a recall or Amsylvie intervention if there is any risk or death or capture. The Emerald Surprise. Daggerfur will not expect you to destroy Kagranak's enchantments on the heart. He does not know it's possible, and he would not do it himself, and he knows we have never tried it. He will not believe anyone would want to sacrifice the promise of such power. Further, advancement in House Dagoth, as in all great houses, is by challenge and confrontation within the hierarchy. The Nerve-Rain's challenges and defeats of Ash Vampires in the battles with the Sixth House will be viewed in that light. Daggerfur and his kin may assume the Nerve-Rain's ambition is to control the heart. Given that assumption, it is only reasonable that the Nerve-Rain will try to defeat each of Daggerfur's subordinates in turn, working up to Daggerfur. If the Nerve-Rain can defeat Daggerfur and control the heart, so much the better. But logically, the Nerve-Rain would wish rise as high in the hierarchy as possible before cutting a deal with the head of the house. Daggerfur should try to recruit the Nerve-Rain into House Dagoth. It may be possible to pretend to join him and then betray him. However, any attempt to deceive him will be very risky. House Dagoth has a tradition of subterfuge and treachery, and because he's a deceiver, he will accept deception. He'll expect deception. We place no compulsion upon the Nerve-Rain to adhere to the plan described here. We believe that they offer the best chance of destroying Daggerfur, but we also have chosen to place our trust in the Nerve-Rain's judgment and skill. Frankly, we see no alternative. If there are doubts or questions, speak with Vivek. He has agreed to serve as the Nerve-Rain's guide and counsel of this campaign. It may be that if the Nerve-Rain succeeds, the Tribunal will not survive. Such sentiments as might have been expressed to the Tribunal should, in that case, be addressed to the land and people of Morrowind. May the happy convergence of fortune and prayer mean our destiny. On behalf of Lady Almalexia and Lord Softhill, Vivek. Damn, son. Okay. Let's get on to the Battle of Red Mountain then. The Battle of Red Mountain, the Rise of Fallen Tribunal. How long is this? Quite long. The following is a transcript of the words of Lord Vivek addressed to a distant priest, Malor Main, who confronted Vivek with the Ashland tradition surrounding the Battle of Red Mountain and prophecies of the Nerve-Rain and to unnamed magistrates of the Inquisition who joined Vivek in interrogating the distant priest. Who can clearly recall the events of the distinct past, but you have asked me to tell you in my own words the events surrounding the Battle of Red Mountain, the birth of the Tribunal, and the prophecies of a Nerevar reborn. Here's what I can tell you. When the Shimmer, or Chimer, I'm not sure, first abandoned the herds and tents of their nomadic ancestors and built the first great houses, we loved the Daedra and worshipped them as gods. But our brethren, the Dreamers, scorned the Daedra and mocked our foolish rituals and preferred instead their gods of reason and logic. So the Shimmer and the Dreamer were always at a bitter war until the Nords came and invaded Resdayn. Only then did the Shimmer and Dreamer put where the strife and join together to cast out the invaders. Once the Nords were driven out, General Nerva of the Shimmer and General Dumak of the Dreamer, who had come to love and respect one another, resolved to make peace between their peoples. In that time, I was but a junior counsellor to Nerva and Nerva's queen, Almalexia, and his other favourite counsellor, Sothasil. Always doubted that such a peace might long survive, given the bitter disputes between Shimmer and Dreamer, but by negotiation and compromise, Nerva and Dumak somehow managed to preserve a fragile peace. But when Dagoth Lord of House Dagoth, entrusted as a friend by both Nerva and the Dreamer, brought us proof that the High Engineer Kagrenak of the Dreamer had discovered the heart of Lorcan and that he had learned how to tap its powers and was building a new god, a mockery of Shimmer, faith and a fearsome weapon, we all urged Nerva to make war on the dwarves and destroy this threat to Shimmer beliefs and security. Nerva was troubled. He went to Dumak and asked if what Dagoth said was true, but Kagrenak took great offence and asked him whom Nerva thought he was, that he might presume to judge the affairs of the Dreamer. Nerva was further troubled and made pilgrimage to Holomean, the sacred temple of Azura, and Azura confirmed that all that Dagoth said was indeed true, and the creation of the new god of the Dreamer should be prevented at all costs. When Nerva came back and told us what the goddess had said, we felt our judgments confirmed, and again counselled him to war, chiding Nerva for his naive trust in friendship, and reminding Nerva of his duty to protect the faith and security of Shimmer against the impiety and dangerous ambitions of the Dreamer. Then Nerva went back to Vvardenfell one last time, hoping that negotiations and compromise might once again preserve the peace. But this time, the friends Nerva and Dumak quarrelled bitterly, and as a result, the Shimmer and Dreamer went to war. The Dreamer were well defended by their fortress at Red Mountain, but Nerva's cunning drew most of Dumak's armies out into the field and pinned them there, while Nerva, Dagoth, and a small group of companions could make their way into the Heart Chamber by secret means. There, Nerva and the Shimmer King met Dumak the Dwarf King. There, Nerva the Shimmer King. Nerva is the Shimmer King. Met Dumak the Dwarf King, and they both collapsed from grievous wounds and draining magics. With Dumak fallen and threatened by Dagoth and others, Kagrenak turned his tools upon the heart, and Nerva said he saw Kagrenak and all of his Dreamer companions at once disappear from the world. In that instance, Dreamer everywhere disappeared without a trace, but Kagrenak's tools remained, and Dagoth seized them, and he carried them to Nerva, saying that though Kagrenak has destroyed his own people with these things, we should destroy them right away, lest they fall into the wrong hands. But Nerva was resolved to confer with his queen and generals, who had foreseen that this war would come, and whose counsel he would not ignore again. I will ask the Tribunal what we shall do with them, for they have had wisdom in the past that I had not. Stay here, Lord Dagoth, until I return. So Nerva told Dagoth to protect the tools in the Heart Chamber until he returned. Then Nerva was carried to us where we waited on the slopes of Red Mountain, and he told us all that it had transpired under Red Mountain. What Nerva had said was that the Dreamer had used the special tools to turn their people into immortals, and the heart of Lorcan held wondrous powers. Only later did we hear from others present that Dagoth had thought the Dreamer destroyed, not made immortal, and no one knows for sure what really happened there. After hearing Nerva, we gave our counsel as he requested, proposing we should preserve these tools in trust for the welfare of the Shimmer people. And who knows, perhaps the Dreamer are not gone forever, but merely transported to some distant realm from which they may someday return to threaten our security once again. Therefore, we need to keep the tools, to study them and their principles, so that we may be safe in future generations. And though Nerva voiced his grave misgivings, he was willing to be ruled by our council under one condition, that we altogether should swear a solemn oath upon the Azura that the tools would never be used in the profane manner that the Dreamer had intended. We all readily agreed and swore solemn oaths at Nerva's dictation. So then we met with Nerva back into Red Mountain and met with Dagoth. Dagoth refused to live the tools with us, saying they were dangerous and we could not touch them. Dagoth seemed to be irrational, insisting that only he could be trusted with the tools, and then we guessed that he had somehow been affected by his handling of the tools, but now I feel sure that he had privately learned the powers of the tools and had in some confused way decided he must have them for himself. Then Nerva and our guard resorted to force to secure the tools. Somehow Dagoth and his retainers escaped, but we gained the tools and delivered them to Sothasil for study and safekeeping. For some years we kept the oaths we swore to Azura and Nerva, but during that time in secret Sothasil must have studied the tools and divined their mysteries, and at last he came to us with a vision of a new world of peace with justice and honour for nobles, and health and prosperity for the commoners, with the Tribunal as immortal patrons and guides, and dedicating ourselves to this vision of a better world, we made a pilgrimage to Red Mountain and transformed ourselves with the power of Kagrenak's tools. And no sooner than we completed our rituals and begun to discover any of our powers, the Daedra Lord Azura appeared and cursed us for our forsworn oaths. By our powers of prophecy, she assured us that her champion Nerevar, true to his oath, would return to punish us for our perfidy, and to make sure such profane knowledge might never again be used to mock and defy the will of the gods. But Sothasil said to her, the old gods are cruel and arbitrary and distant from the hopes and fears of Mer. Your age is past, we are the new gods, born of the flesh, and wise and caring of the needs of our people. Spare us your threats and chiding in constant spirit. We are bold and fresh and will not fear you. And then in that moment, all Shimmer were changed into Dunmer. Fuck you. And our skins turned ashen and our eyes into fire. Of course, we only knew that time. At that time that this had happened to us, but Azura said, "This is not my act, but your act. You've chosen your fate and the fate of your people, and all the Dunmer shall share your fate from now to the end of time. You think yourselves gods, but you are blind and all is darkness." And Azura left us alone in darkness, and we were all afraid, but we put on brave faces and went forth from Red Mountain to build the new world of our dreams. And the new world we shaped was glorious and generous, and the worship of the Dunmer fervent and grateful. The Dunmer were at first afraid of their new faces, but Sothasil spoke to them, saying that it was not a curse but a blessing, a sign of their changed natures and a sign of the special favour that they might enjoy as new Mer. No longer barbarians trembling before ghosts and spirits, but civilized Mer, speaking directly to their immortal friends and patrons, the three faces of the Tribunal. And we were all inspired by Sothasil's speech and vision and took heart. And over time we crafted the customs and institutions of a just and honourable society, and the land of Resdayn, a new millennium of peace, equity and prosperity unknown to other savage races. But beneath Red Mountain, Daggerford had survived, and even as the light of our bold new world shined ever more brightly beneath Red Mountain, the darkness gathered, a darkness that was close kin to the bright light that Sothasil coaxed from the half-lockout and the Sons of Kagrenac. As the darkness grew, we fought it and crafted walls to confine it, but we never could destroy it, for the source of the darkness was the same source as the source of our own divine inspiration. And in these latter days of Morrowind, reduced to a subjugated province of the Western Empire, as the glory of the temple fades and the dark tide rises from Red Mountain, we are reminded of Azura and her promised champion's return. We have waited blind and in darkness, mere shadows, drained of our ardent vision, in shame of our folly, in fear of our judgment, and in hope of our deliverance. We do not know that if the Outlander claiming to fulfill the prophecies of the Nerevarine is our old companion Nerevar reborn, or a pawn of the Emperor, or a catspaw of Azura, or some simple twist of fate. But we insist you adhere to the temple doctrine, and to confirm the strictures dividing the Hierographa of the Apographa, and that you not speak that which must not be spoken openly. Act as a dutiful priest should, in accordance with your vows of obedience to the canons and archcanons, and all will be forgiven. Defy me, and you will know what it is to stand against the god, Vivek. Fuck. So Daggerthur was the one who actually initially urged them to not act hastily, and not use the tools in case it corrupted them, and then he went and did it himself. What a dick. So halfway there, we're on to Daggerthur's plans. Is this one quite long? This is long as well. I apologise if this video goes over time, but I want to put all of these into one video, so it doesn't interfere with any of the actual other quests. So we get all of these out the way. You get the idea. All of the reading will be in this video, regardless of how long it is. The following documents were prepared by the Temple Scholars and Agents of the Inquisition for Lord Vivek. From interrogation of captured sleepers and other Sixth House cultists, from study of manuscripts written by cultists and victims of dream-induced mania, from interviews with Lord Vivek concerning his strong campaigns against Red Mountain, and from broad conjectures and inferences made upon these materials, this is our best estimate of Daggerthur's motivations and objectives in his most recent phase of his war upon Morrowind. Phase 1, or basic objectives. Establish a theocracy in Morrowind based on the worship of the newborn god Agulacan, second the medium to be created by Daggerthur from the heart of Lorcan, and a body constructed according to the principles and rituals pioneered by the Dreamer Kagrenac. Establish the ancient heirs of House Dagoth as the god priests of Agulacan, and the Sixth House of Daggerthur as the dominant political power in Morrowind. Through charismatic conversion, unite the Dunmer under the guidance of Daggerthur to battle against the foreign animals who hold Morrowind in subjection. Note: Daggertha has apparently adopted the views and motivations of the Dwemer High Craft Lord Kagranak. In effect, he recapitulates the ancient blasphemous folly of the Dwemer. 2. Expose the false worship of the Tribunal and destroy the ecclesiastical authority and political power of the temple. How much the distant priests of the cult or the cult of the Nervi may be controlled or influenced by the Sixth House in this regard is open to speculation. Extirpate all remaining individuals of inferior Mongol races from Morrowind. 4. Drive the Empire from Morrowind. 5. Recover ancient territories stolen by Skyrim and Argonia. 6. Extend the worship of Akulakan to all nations of Tamriel through subversion and conquest. Plans to establish and expand the Sixth House. Phase 1. Secure Red Mountain against the Tribunal intruders. Deny Tribunal access to the hearts, weakening the temple while securing Red Mountain for the creation of Akulakan. Keep the construction of Second Numidium a secret. Phase 2. Create passive servants in ever-widening circles around Red Mountain and by broadcasting compulsions couched in dream imagery to susceptible subjects in their sleep. Establish a major operational base at Kogorin for further operations in the Ash Wastes. I saw that. Establish smaller bases near small port villages and in low-class waterfront districts in Vivek. Yep, saw that as well. Infiltrate and subvert smuggling syndicates. Recruit willing followers from disaffected populations, including the underworld, the poor and rabid anti-imperial activists. Phase 3. Expand from smaller bases to other towns and villages, and recruit and indoctrinate subjects made susceptible by dream sendings. Yep. Found them as well. Occupy abandoned towers and ruins and train corrupted cultists as raiders and irregular troops. Identify, discredit and decimate possible sources of political resistance. Use assassination and terror to weaken, distract and disrupt the legions and the imperial bureaucracy along with their Hlalu sympathizers. Inspire popular uprisings of the native poor against the foreign, rich and powerful. Summon sleepers and dreamers to Daggertha to work on Second Numidium. Inferring Daggertha's perspectives. Daggertha thinks on a large time scale, for the most part, in the outside of time scale of the divine consciousness. He thinks that only obstacles of mythic scale are worth consideration. He believes that he's fated to rule Morrowind, to free Morrowind of the Empire, and to become the new, hard-loving father of Morrowind. Given that perspective, the only opposing forces Daggertha worries about are the Tribunal, the Daedra, the Emperor, and the Incarnate. With the Tribunal's loss of Sunder and Keening, and with the diminishing resources of Vivek, Armalak, and Saltasil, Daggertha believes he's permanently gained a decisive strategic advantage. On a mortal timescale, the battle may last for centuries, but the outcome is not in doubt, and Akulakan may be a device for dramatically reducing the timescale for decisive victory. The myth of dynamic invincibility of the Emperor and the Empire has long been an unquantifiable and intimidating threat, but recent rumours of unrest in Cyrodiil, of the Emperor's failing health, and the unsettled question of the succession have diminished the scale of that threat. Nonetheless, the revelation that the Nervain is the pawn of Imperial intelligence, handpicked and sent to Morrowind by the Emperor himself, may cause Daggertha considerable anxiety. The Daedra represent no coherent obstacle to Daggertha. Nonetheless, their personal abilities and their influence upon their fanatic followers is considerable, their motives and actions obscure, and Daggertha remains concerned about them. The Incarnate represents Saint Nerva, a mythic force that's previously defeated Daggertha, and Daggertha is obsessed with this threat. At the same time, Daggertha knew Nerva personally, knew that he was a mortal man with faults and weaknesses. Daggertha may have some hope of seducing or negotiating with Nerva's reincarnation. Further, when the Nerva and the Tribunal defeated Daggertha, they were strong and allied. Now the Nerva and the Tribunal are weak, opposed and divided. Therefore, though the Nerva and the Tribunal represent the most serious threat to Daggertha's plans, he still has a good reason to believe that this time he'll prevail. The recent timescale Daggertha's activities, much of the following timescale is based on inference from incomplete information. Daggertha's kin lie dreaming beneath the sills of Red Mountain. Daggertha and his ash vampires awake refreshed and emerge from the lower Red Mountain into the Heart Chamber. Daggertha ritually binds himself and his brethren as heart rites in a ritual of his own devising. First stages of construction of Second Numidium, conceived during the long sleep, are begun by heart rites and Atranak. Construction of a chamber near the heart of Lorcan, keeping the Second Numidium project secret from the Tribunal is a high priority. The Tribunal arrive at Red Mountain for their annual ritual bathing in the heart's power. Daggertha and Ash Vampires ambush the Tribunal. The Tribunes are driven away and prevented from restoring themselves with Kagranak's tools and the Heart of Lorcan. Intermittent Tribunal campaigns assault Red Mountain. The Tribunal and supporting forces seek to force access to the Heart Chamber are repeatedly driven back. Dagatha recruits sleepers and dreamers through dream sendings. Cultists are recruited through dream compulsion. Weaker cultists become corpus beasts. Strong cultists advance through the stages towards the powers of these sended sleepers. Kogorin reoccupied by Dagatha Uthal and fortified as an advance base for 6 house operations. White storms more frequent and widespread. Soul sickness spreads in regions close to Red Mountain. 6 house base spaces founded near Gnarmok and in waterfront areas of Vivek. 6 house operatives exploit smuggler organisations and communications to spread their influence among victims unbalanced by Dagatha's dream sendings. Small cells of 6 house cultists in every town in Gardenfall. Larger 6 house operations are concealed in remote dungeons, where creatures are bred and cultists are trained for the coming struggle. Almalak and Sothersil lose the artifacts, Keening and Sumner to Dagorhodros and Vemin. Vivek rescues Almalak and Sothersil, but failing to recover Keening and Sunder. The Tribunal retreat from Red Mountain in disorder. Surviving boy and Amber's companions know that the Tribunal is forced to retreat, but do not know how serious a reversal the Tribunal has suffered. The 3 tribunes return to their respective capitals and continue to perform their ritual functions. The tribunes continue to grow weaker without access to the heart, and because of resources required to support the Ghost Friends, the inner circle of the temple priesthood has begun to suspect that the tribunes have suffered seriously from wounds and demoralization in the wake of reverses at Red Mountain, but do not recognize the scale of the problem. Campaign of 6 house assassinations of prominent Imperial citizens and Harlow Imperial sympathizers. Sudden increase in number and seriousness of attacks by cultists and victims deranged by soul sickness. Noted with concern. 1. Dagatha can apparently perceive and communicate directly through his cultists. Sleepers and dreamers are often reported speaking as though with Dagatha's voice and intention. 2. Little is known about the features, scale, or stage of completion of Akulakan, second Numidium. No one has gained entrance to the Heart Chamber since 2E282. In 3E417, King and Sunder were captured and may substantially aid in Akulakan's construction. So it's not a good stay right now. So finally, Nerevar Red Mountain. This is the last one. Is this long? It is. I'll just try and ready my throat. Gotta get through this last stage. The following is from the Apocrypha, the hidden writings of the Tribunal Temple. It is a scholarly retelling of a tradition transmitted through the Ashlanders concerning the battle at Red Mountain and subsequent events. The Ashlanders associate this tale with the telling of Alandro Sul, a shield companion of Nerevar who came to live among the Ashlanders after the death of Nerevar and during the ascension of the Tribunal. There are many variant treatments of this story, but the primary elements are consistent throughout the tradition. The murder of Nerevar, the tragic fate of Dagatha, and the profane source of the Tribunal's divine power are denied by temple doctrine as ignorant Ashland superstition and not widely known amongst civilized Dunmer. Resdain, President Morrowind, was contested ground between 2 very different types of Mer. The Shimmer, who worshipped Daedra, and the Dreamer, who worshipped a profane and secret power. These 2 people warred with each other constantly until their lands were invaded by a young, vibrant and violent alien culture, the Norse. 2 heroes, one from the Shimmer and one from the Dreamer, Induril Nerevar and Dumak Dwarfork, made peace between their people and together ousted the alien invaders. Then these 2 heroes worked long and hard to maintain that peace thereafter, though their counsellors thought it could not last, or worse, that it shouldn't. Nerevar's queen and his generals, Almalexia, Sothersil, and Vivek, told him to claim all Resdain for his own. But Nerevar would not listen, for he remembered his friendship with Dumak. There would be only peace. Until Dagatha arrived, House Dagatha discovered the source of the profane and secret power of the Dreamer, the legendary Heart of Lorcan, which Dumak's people had used to make themselves immortal and beyond the measure of the gods. In fact, one of their high priests, Kagranak, was building a new god so that the Dreamer could claim Resdain for their own. The Tribunal urged Nerevar again to make war on the dwarves. Nerevar was troubled. He went to Dumak, his friend of old, and asked if what Daggerthir said was true, but Kagranak and the High Priest of the Dream had kept their new god secret from their king. Dumak said that the Dream were innocent of any wrongdoing. Nerva was troubled again and made pilgrimage to Holomean, the sacred temple of Azura, who confirmed that all that Daggerthir said was indeed true, and that the new god of the Dwemer should be destroyed for the safety of not only Resdayn, but for the whole world. When Nerva went back and told his tribunal what the goddess had said, his queen and generals felt themselves proved aright and again counselled him to war. There were reasons that the Dreamer and Shimmer had hated each other forever. Finally, Nerva, angered that his friend Dumak would lie to him, went back to Vjardenfell. This time, the Shimmer king was arrayed in arms and armour, and had his horse around him, and he spoke harshly to Dumak Dwarfork, king of Red Mountain. You must give up your worship of the Heart of Lorcan, or I shall forget our friendship and the deeds that were accomplished in its name. And Dumak, who still knew nothing of Kagranak's new god, but proud and protective as ever of his people, we shall not relinquish that which has been our way for years beyond reckoning, just as the Shimmer will not relinquish their ties to the lords and ladies of oblivion. And to come at my door in this way, arrayed in arms and armour with your horse around you, tells me you have already forgotten our friendship. Stand down, my sweet Nerva, or I swear by the 15 and 1 golden tons I should kill you and all your people. And so Shimmer and Dwemer went to war. The Dwemer were well defended by their fortress at Red Mountain, but the bravery and cleverness of Nerva's queen and generals drew most of Dumak's armies out into the fields and kept them there, so that Nerva and Daggerthir could make their way into the Heart Chamber by secret means. There Nerva met Dumak and the Dwarf King, and they both fell from grievous wounds. Daggerthir slew Kagranak and took the tools the Dreamer used to tap the power of the heart. He went to his dying Lord Nerva and asked him what to do with these tools, and Nerva summoned Azura again, and she showed them how to use the tools to separate the power of the heart from the Dreamer people. And on the fields, the Tribunal and their armies watched as the Dreamer turned into dust all around them as their stolen immortality was taken away. Back in Red Mountain, Nerva told Daggerthir to protect the tools and the heart chamber until he returned. Daggerthir said, "But shouldn't we destroy these tools at once, so that they might never be used for evil again?" Sorry. But Nerva was confused by his wounds and his sorrow, for he still loved Dumak and the Dreamer people, and so went to the fields outside Red Mountain to confer with his queen and his generals, who had foreseen that this war would come and whose counsel he would not ignore again. "I will ask the tribunal what we shall do with them, for they have had wisdom in the past that I have not. Stay, Lord Daggerthir, until I return." Then Nerva told his queen and generals all that had transpired to Red Mountain, how the Dreamer used special tools to turn their people into immortals, and have the wondrous power of the Heart of Lorcan. The tribunal decided that the Shimmer should learn how to use this power, so that Nerva might claim Resdayn and the world for their people. Nerva did not expect or want this, so he asked his queen and generals to help them summon Azura for her guidance. But the tribunal had become as greedy as Kagranak upon hearing of the power of the heart, and they coveted it. They made ritual as if to summon Azura as Nerva wanted, but Almalexi used poisoned candles, and Sothersil used poisoned robes, and Vivek used poisoned invocations. Nerva was murdered. Then Azura came forth anyway and cursed the tribunal for their foul deeds. She told them that she would use her powers over dusk and dawn to make sure Nerva would come back and make things right again. But the tribunal laughed at her and said that soon they would be gods themselves, and the Shimmer people would forget their old ways of worship. And Azura knew this would be true, and that it would take a long time before her power might bring Nerva back. "What you have done here today is foul beyond measure, and you will grow to regret it, for the likes of gods are not what mortals think, and matters that weigh only years to mortals weigh on gods forever." And so that they might know forever their wicked deeds, Azura changed the Shimmer into Dunmer, and their skin turned ashen and their eyes into fire. Let this mark remind you of your true selves, who, like ghouls, fed on the nobility, heroism, and trust of their king. And when the tribunal went into Red Mountain and met with Daggerthir, Daggerthir saw what had been done, for his skin had changed as well, and he tried to avenge the death of Nerva, but to no avail. He was driven off and thought dead. The tribunal found the tools he had been guarding, and through study of Kagranak's methods, turned themselves into gods. Thousands of years after their apotheosis, the tribunal are still the gods in Morrowind, and the old ways of worship are remembered by only few, and the murder of Nerva is known to fewer. But his queen and generals still fear his return, for the words of Azura linger long, and they see the mark of a curse on their people every day. So that one paints the Tribunal a lot worse than Dagoth Ur. That one says that Dagoth Ur tried to avenge Nerevar because of the Tribunal's betrayal, but in fact, apparently, it was Dagoth Ur who initially betrayed them by trying to take the tools for himself and being driven mad by them before the Tribunal indeed did take the tools and try to use them for themselves. That's interesting. We have a lot of different theories going on here. And also that one also says that the Dreamer King Dumak didn't know that Kagranak was using the tools to try and make the Dreamer into gods. So there's a lot of various theories being flung around here. So that was just me getting all that away. I wanted to read all the prophecies, all the lore and everything like that, so I could get an understanding of what was going on. Hope you don't mind. I put them all into one episode just to make sure that they didn't take up too much space in this playlist, I guess. But thank you very much for watching, guys. Hope you've enjoyed. If you haven't, please like, comment, subscribe, favourite, and share with your friends. Stay tuned for more episodes of the Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind. If you have any suggestions for games I can play on this channel, suggestions for things I can do in Morrowind, or suggestions for things I can do to improve my videos, then please leave your suggestions in the comment section below. Thanks again, guys. Have a nice day. Cheers. Bye.